Welcome to the first of 10 episodes showcasing London's newest railway line.
We're at a station today which is one of the oldest on the London Underground from 1863.
With some beautiful artwork, design and architecture features.
From one of the oldest stations to one of the newest, we're at Farringdon.
Hi everybody, welcome to Series 4, Episode 13 of the Hidden London Hangouts. We are getting a little bit of a reputation in London for places where exclusives come to play. And in the next 10 episodes of the Hangouts, you are going to see some truly amazing stuff. I don't do this on my own. I've got three amazing people from the London Transport Museum to guide us through whatever we're talking about. And Chris Nix, not only is it very early on Monday morning because of a massive diary clash, but secondly, we have got truly fascinating stuff to talk about, haven't we?
We have, yeah. Thank goodness doing exclusives is what we've got a reputation for. And today, it's this one. It's a biggie.
I'm very, very excited that you've got the mask because we've been asking for these and they sold out. Would you believe?
You see, I did that surprising thing of buying one.
Well, that's all marvellous. I don't really understand that concept. City Holloway, how are you, my darling?
I'm good. I'm grateful for this cup of coffee because it is very early on a Monday morning, but I wouldn't miss it for the world for all of you to see what you are about to see, because what a trip that was. And what a privilege it is that we get to be the first ones to show people around.
It truly is. I have to say, it's my little Miss Naughty mug. We are doing this really early in the morning because Laura has got such a busy day today, haven't you?
Well, I do. I think we've all got crazy schedules this week. But yeah, Siddy and I are training at Charing Cross for the new Hidden London tours that are opening there soon. And we've also got to kind of decamp from Piccadilly, where we've been running tours recently. And it all just seemed to happen today. So sorry, guys, that I've made you get up at silly o'clock for today.
You'll be delighted to know that I will not be decamping anytime soon. So the joy and delight of what we do on the Hidden London Hangouts is occasionally parts of our amazing infrastructure say to us, would you like a sneak preview of what we're doing? And we say, yes, please, very, very much indeed. And today is the first of a series of episodes where we're going to look at the Crossrail project, now known as the Elizabeth Line. And we were stunned and staggered by what we saw. Chris, first of all, as long as I can remember, we've been talking about Crossrail coming to London. It's actually coming now, isn't it? Imminently.
It is. I mean, the idea for a railway that would do the job of Crossrail has been around for a very long time. If people have been on our tour of Clapham South Deep Level Shelter, you'll know that the idea of putting in extra express high capacity railways underground in London has been around really since before the war. The New Works project in the 30s from London Transport was there to deal with the fact that London's population had exploded. And before the war, there were around 8 million people in London. After the war, there were about 3 million fewer people. And so the need for that railway had gone away really until recent times, when the numbers have got up to and exceeded those numbers. The way that London Transport was going to achieve this was by creating express tube lines beneath or alongside the existing tubes on the Northern, the Central and the Bakerloo railways. And those deep level shelters that were built in the Second World War, if you haven't already seen that episode, here's the link. They were designed to be linked up if London Transport wanted to do that after the war. As I say, there wasn't the need. So the idea of Crossrail, I first saw when I came to the museum in the late 90s, because there had been a plan to build Crossrail much earlier. But the Elizabeth line, as we now know it, it was the one which has now been built under the current Crossrail project. It's huge. It does, as the name suggests, cross London. Literally, there's kind of a cross shape with a line in the middle. Reading, Heathrow, Shenfield and Abbey Wood are the extremities of it. And we're going to start off with the central section, which will be opening within the next 6 months. It's currently undergoing testing, and when it opens, it promises huge trains deep underground, 24 trains an hour, providing massive capacity and connectivity connecting with the existing underground across 42 kilometres of new track.
He's good, isn't he? Isn't he good with all of his stats? Siddles, the thing that I loved about our day at Farringdon was every corner we turned had an exciting new view, didn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah. And I mean, just this, as Chris was saying, the sheer scale of these stations is just, it's startling. It takes your breath away. I mean, you know, the platforms themselves are 244 meters in length. It's just extraordinary. And I mean, it really is going to be a game changer for London when these stations open, because I just can't, you know, in my brain, I cannot compute how that is going to change so many journeys that we take, you know, going to Heathrow or going to other places. I kind of can't imagine it, and I can't wait to actually see what it's going to be like, populated with commuters going wherever they need to go. It really is extraordinary. And as you say, every corner you took, just something beautiful and breathtaking, and a beautiful design detail that we just kind of thought, isn't that amazing?
Totally. And it's interesting for my life. You know, I live not far from Woolwich Station, so I will be on that line. And the really weird thing, Law, was when we were down there, they were running effectively a railway line with just no passengers. So trains were coming in and they were going out, nobody on them, but it was running as a proper railway. It was a bit like sort of the invisible flaneur in the middle of France, weren't we? Just to quote some of your lovely literature.
Yeah, I think it was difficult for us not to kind of poke our heads into the train. And I know we all wanted to just kind of step on and just kind of have a little bit of a look on the train as well. But obviously we were not allowed to do that. It was, you know, it is going through this very serious testing process, which is really important. But we're super lucky to be there. And I think what stands out for me is there were just such lovely themes of increased capacity, accessibility, safety, reliability, but these lovely kind of little bits of efficiency and connectivity kind of oozing through as well. And I think, you know, the lighting is a big one as well. I think we've got some pictures coming up that show the beautiful lighting, you know, the indirect lighting that kind of comes through and just kind of helps shape the kind of that natural curvature and the really clean, lovely lines. I mean, once loads of people are in there, it's hard to kind of see it in its entirety. So what we were really lucky to see is just get that kind of bird's eye view. And I guess you'll all, you know, remember coming down those escalators and we're all a little bit kind of starry-eyed.
It was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. And as you saw at the very beginning of this episode, you saw old meeting new. Old Farringdon meets new Farringdon, literally across a little piazza. It's beautiful. Without further ado, let's get downstairs. As I say, we have about 10 episodes of this coming up, peppered in with a few other bits and bobs to keep those of you who love old London happy and satisfied. But this is just too good to miss. We were given exclusive access, and we are going to continue to be given exclusive access over the coming weeks so that you are the very first people to see it, and our Patreons will see even more. So sign up for that as well. In the meantime, let's get down and have a first glance at Farrington Station. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am. The first of our 10 episodes about these new Crossrail stations. I've never opened a Bostwick gate before.
You see, I thought it was Her Majesty the Queen who was supposed to open that.
I wish I'd thought of that line, Mike. But isn't this just incredible? Chris, first impressions before we go down the escalator.
Well, I think a bit like when we're on the Northern Line extension, it feels kind of Jubilee Line plus. It's really, really kind of grown-up version of that. Really lovely architectural features, ceiling, the lighting, the panelling, and just can't wait to get inside and have a look.
I was going to say, the lighting is probably one of my, the thing I'm noticing the first is this kind of, how it's really bright, but at the same time kind of warm. They've done a really good job at this, and just highlighting the artwork as well.
Totally.
Cannot not notice the artwork, right? So it's by Simon Periton, and it's tumbling kind of jewels and gemstones, and if you look down the escalator as well, it literally looks like they're tumbling down. And I think it's a really lovely nod to the ironsmiths and goldsmiths and jewelers of the kind of surrounding area, but I absolutely love it.
I'd never thought of that, actually. That is so true.
It's also why, if you look up, you've got this diamond pattern in the ceilings, you've got
Even
those,
over there.
Yep, the structures through there. Even the Bostwick gates are trying their best to be on message.
I love it. And I love the flooring. The flooring is beautiful. And I love these hospital skirting boards that we get. These beautiful curved skirting boards. And like you, When you look at the Jubilee line stations, they're dark colours, aren't they? They're well lit, but they're dark. I love the fact that this is actually really pale and it just reflects the light. It looks stunning.
The thing that's common to the Jubilee line is there's this fine finish poured concrete like that, so it looks, you know, really, really smooth. And as you say, this is terrazzo. It's made with granite, so it's really hard wearing. I think they call it granazzo. Granazzo. There you go. So that should be there long after we're not. That's good hard wearing stuff.
Oh, cool.
I love it. Well, let's have a look down the escalator and see what we've got, because I reckon if we love this, we're going to adore the platforms and everything else down there. And
look at the shapes.
Right.
yeah, the shape.
Remember?
Should we go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah, speeds
they
up,
speed
Sid,
up.
speeds up.
You ready?
Let's join these gemstones travelling down the escalators.
Look at this, like, portal. You know, it's like it's kind of engulfing us.
It is, isn't it? The design of this is absolutely stunning. And again, everywhere is so beautifully lit. It's subtle but beautiful.
Well, it's very clever. You probably won't even see it on camera. These louvered LED light panels are there throwing the light up to reflect off the ceiling. And isn't it a nice space to be atmospherically?
Oh, it's really nice. But also, it's that whole thing we always say about acoustics as well. There isn't that ridiculous echo that you get in some stations.
Yeah.
All of those ceiling panels have got sound damping. So those perforated panels are sound damping, which is why it's so quiet.
It's brilliant because, yes, it's sound damping, but it's also really aesthetically pleasing because it feels like you're just kind of being held really nicely.
Oh,
here.
wow. Look at that.
It's the symmetry, guys. Look at that symmetry.
Who doesn't love a totem, eh?
Reminds me a
Yeah.
little bit of Redbridge, actually. And I have to say, can I just say, Chris, who's on camera, Chris 2, who's on camera, did the most amazing bit of footwork getting off that escalator just now. I'm loving the roundel in purple. This is just gorgeous. Look at that view. Everywhere you look, this is so beautifully visually pleasing.
I think it's the tidiness of this that's really impressive, because it doesn't quite feel clinical, but it's very tidy. We've seen all of the advertising panels on the way down, so they're not random and cluttered. We've got more around us here. And they've really thought about how to keep the space clutter-free. The amount of stuff that's contained in here, the light, the CCTV,
Got
the
emergency
signage.
lights down the side here as well, so they kick into action. And I think you've just hit the nail on the head. It's not clinical, but it's streamlined and the curves are beautiful. It's simplistic and it's modern with a lovely nod towards all of the design features that we've kind of gone through so many times on the Hangouts. But it's not clinical. It doesn't feel sparse.
And look, I'm just going to say, just look over there, the way the lines just bend into the places where you go into the
Flow.
platforms.
Literally
There's
just
flow
flows.
and detail everywhere. Honestly, I would love to be as clever as these architects.
There's a really beautiful feature in here to do with the lighting as well that you're only going to notice if it's pointed out.
Okay.
All of the places that you dwell have got a warm white light on them, and all of the places that you're encouraged not to hang about and to hurry up,
Places we go.
are cool white lights.
Is that true?
I really hope the light
Very
balance, the
good.
white balance
Yeah,
on
you
the
can
camera
actually
picks it
tell
out. But
because there
Did you
it's all
spot
kind
that?
of warm.
I might have heard about it.
I knew that.
I've done my research.
Genius bit of
Because,
information.
Yeah, if you see in the cross passages, they're a much cooler light.
Isn't that funny how, you know, when you go into like a light bulb shop and you see the warm white and cold light, where would you put cold light? You know,
Yeah.
it's or cold white if you like. It's such a ghastly colour.
So a light bulb.
Have you not? I go in there all the time. I spend half my
And
life
there's
in
your
that.
answer. It's to encourage people to move
Oh,
into the
that's
warm
Move
comfortable
through.
lighting.
That is brilliant.
So there you go. They're called luminaires rather than lights because they're a fixed light unit.
I love it.
If you notice on the escalators, they had the lovely contemporary digital advertising boards. But if you flick over here, they have the traditional billboards. And I think these lights are always on, but it draws your eye to hopefully what's going to be the kind of more traditional posters. So you're going to get both of those sets of artwork on display.
I just love it.
Of course, some of these features are things that we saw in the Northern Line extension when we were there. There's sort of big advertising panels, that lighting, and also the lighting on the escalators, on the sides of the escalator panels, which is much closer to the ones that we saw, you know, the experimental
the
one at
Charing Cross
Charing
ones.
Cross,
Yeah, so-
absolutely.
So there we go.
Just imagine what it's going to be like when thousands of people walk through here every day.
And we have 10 episodes of this. 10 episodes to
amazing.
explore the most beautiful new line to adorn our beautiful city.
Right, can we go and have a little look on the platform?
Let's go.
Okay.
She's so impatient.
Sorry.
I just learnt a new term. Siddy, is that downstairs bit the totem wood? Is it? Oh, God.
Well, I trust you to call it that. It's called the Totem Forest,
Is
I
it?
believe. It's
Is it
because
really?
each one of those kind of signposts sort of looks like a totem pole, and so it goes along all the way of the middle. So it's called the Totem Forest, and it provides that beautiful, lovely, warm uplighting for the tunnel, but it also obviously helps with signposting. So yes, it's the Totem Forest, or if you must, the Totem Wood.
I quite like the totem wood. Laura, you were completely struck by the architecture and the joy. And I have to say that beautiful cream on the walls. Well, I can't remember what it actually was made of, but it's beautiful down there, isn't it?
It is. It's got a really, a really lovely feel of just being new and clean and efficient, but the sparkle of those kind of gems and diamonds. And I love the way they just kind of tumble down the escalator, because it draws your eye in the natural flow of where the passenger is going to be walking. And I just think it's really, the whole station for me was very subtle and simple, but so significant in the way that it's managed these really lovely design and architectural features. Because for me, it kind of really challenges your perception of height and of length and of depth. I feel that, you know, what is effectively a low ceiling then looks more arched, and what is, you know, just a kind of right angle kind of corner to get to the platform is this now lovely curved, you know, it just takes you around this lovely flow of the curve to the next space. And I love the way that it breaks that kind of breaks that natural space up. And makes it look slightly different. Does that make sense?
Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That makes sense. And it's interesting, Chris, because I'm going back to the origins of the Hidden London Hangouts, when you and I used to go on our mandates and then have pizza and Prosecco, as documented in lots of episodes. I used to be amazed at how stunned I was as we used to go around truly old bits of London Underground, okay? I would say that I would have the same wow factor walking around this, brand new. And it's interesting how it's not necessarily about age, it's about the stunningness of somewhere that really, really catches my eye. When I go on escalators now, on any kind of tube station, I think to myself, I look at places in a completely different way. And seeing Farringdon in that brand new form, I was actually quite bowled over by what I saw.
I think we're used to talking about stations that you know, bits survive, and you can see the love and attention that went into them when they were being designed, the tiling detail, the tricky, adventurous engineering that was groundbreaking at the time. And you get the same very real sense walking into these places that they're new, but you can see all around you that same care, love and attention and bold new engineering going on. The thing here is a lot of this stuff is hidden in plain view. It does look visually impressive, but you need to start finding out about it to find out really how impressive it is. And things like, if we just have a look at a couple of images of the things.
Nicely done there, Chris. Nicely woven in there, love.
This ceiling with that diamond pattern put in is massive. It's 350 tons of precast concrete to create this rather nice pattern. They could have just done a plain ceiling, but they didn't. They put the attention to detail in. And
I love as well that I still get quite an excited moment whenever I see Elizabeth line. I remember going to Tottenham Court Road about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and the sign above the escalators actually said Crossrail. And it was fascinating to thought, God, a whole new tube line to explore. This is so exciting. And now you start to see these signs beginning to appear, or through the Bostwick Gates, as we went through earlier. This is a whole new bit of London to explore. It's just hugely exciting, Sid, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, there hasn't been a brand new tube line in London since 1979. Well, if you count the Jubilee line extension in 99, of course but you know, a brand new line. And even with that, the Jubilee line took over a part of the Bakerloo line. So really there hasn't been one since 1969 with the Victoria line. So this is like a true, like, groundbreaking moment in London transport history, because this is the first tube line to be opened in London in the 21st century, and it truly lives up to that kind of name of being a tube line for the 21st century. I mean, just look at that photo. You're already seeing just how much the design game has been stepped up, and just how every little detail has been thought of. It's honestly, I know we talk a lot about things being amazing and things being incredible, but really this is history being made, and we're getting the privilege to tell people about it before they get to go there, which is just an honor. It's really amazing.
You got the hair on the back of my neck stands up when I see this picture, because thank you very much, Chris. You're doing brilliantly on the button pushing today. This is great, because I look at that and I think this is like the glitziest shopping center you've ever been to. It could be an amazing hotel in Dubai. These places are spellbinding by view. And Laura, you mentioned it earlier on the tape. Look at the artwork, even up the glass of the staircases. It is everywhere you look. The attention to detail is something else, isn't it?
It is. It's really lovely. And it's what's lovely here is that how it kind of creates such a lovely kind of sense of space and scale and movement. I think the artwork for me just helps create this lovely sense of movement, of moving down into the space. Just look at those lovely lines and all of that lovely light filtering through. I mean, it's an amazing picture, but to be fair, sometimes a picture doesn't do justice to the actual kind of space, but I think this picture captures it really well. And I think we all had a bit of a moment here where we were like, this looks really great, guys. You know, this is really special. And I think both, you know, we've all kind of alluded to it today, but it is a really special moment in history. And I think that it's even more special because of the year and the kind of, well, the year, 18 months, 2 years, how long has this pandemic been kind of rumbling and kind of, you know, changing all of our lives. So I think it's even more special because it's when this opens, it's going to be at a time of when connection and reconnection is really, really important and so significant in everybody's lives.
Oh, this is very good, isn't it? And by the way, hat tip to Chris Bevanley, who is the videographer and photographer for the Elizabeth line, who has been loaned to us for the purpose of these 10 episodes. He's lovely. Thank you so much for making us so welcome at Farringdon. We're looking forward to working with you over the next 10 episodes. He's the nicest man. Maybe we'll get him on one of the episodes just to talk about what it's been like to be the videographer of a brand new tube line. How cool is that? And here we go with another example of those things. You may have seen on my Instagram a photograph that was cropped, and Chris and I thought long and hard about whether we actually share that at that time. But where I was crouching where it says Farringdon, looking up at those amazing escalators there. And once again, there's another amazing, sorry about that, for those of you counting it. I know we have a count every week. Chris, again, look at the curvature of even the tunnel shaft of those escalators. It is just gorgeous. Everywhere you look is gorgeous, isn't it?
There's so much to go out in this photo. Start with the roundel, which is an Elizabeth line roundel. Don't go looking for Crossrail on the tube map when this opens. Crossrail was the project. Elizabeth line is the identity of this line. And then we've got Farringdon on this glass panelled totem, one of the forest or small wood
Totem wood
at the site. We'll definitely see a forest of totems at another station. There's a smaller number here, but yeah, just looking at this shape that I think Laura and City were describing, this kind of fluid shape of the tunnel, which is created by these linings. These are glass fiber reinforced concrete panels, and they're very, very clever design. I believe TfL now holds a patent on doing this. Where
is that a post-it note?
It is, because I'm about to demonstrate something. The way that you see that you've got these 3D shapes of the panels, what they do is they pour this glass fiber reinforced concrete into a flexible mold and then twist the mold while it's set into
I was wondering about that.
Right,
yes.
to create these shapes. All of these panels have got a unique ID on them. So if ever one of them cracks or breaks, then they can have another one made to that exact twist and have it refitted.
And who are the four people on the corners? Who are the four people on the corners of the mould who do that bending? Do they get brought back as well for the spares?
No, but it seriously looks like 3D printing, basically, but on a giant scale. It's incredible.
That's what it is, though, is it, Chris? A bit like that? Mould pouring.
It's not really. If you ever had a linker kit, if you made model railways as a kid, sorry, this is going to rule some people out, but it's a bit like that. They've kind of got a rubber mold. You could do the same thing with those back in the day, kind of wobbly wall panels. So yeah, the perforated ones are there to absorb sound. They've got sound damping behind them, and the whole space is just a comfortable place to be with that lighting technique that we talked about on the film.
I love it. Okay, we need to go to the platform, don't we? We need to see what this is, because you guys are just chomping at the bit to see more and more. So let's leave the totem wood and head to the platforms. This is so exciting. This train is approaching to Abbey Wood. We've actually got a train. When those doors open, we are going to see the most beautiful moquette on these seats of these trains. And actually, looking around this space, guys, it's enormous. Chris, this is a huge, huge platform. What do you make of the whole place?
It's a fantastic space, and we're here right at that transitional moment when the Crossrail project, which has built this, is starting to hand over to the Elizabeth line, the latest line on London's underground railway system. And it's a really defining moment. There's a lot of work still to do. So you can see these trains are running in test mode at the moment. There's a lot of acceptance going on. There's around, I think, 200,000 documents that have to be created to change this from a project into an operating railway, which is the process that's happening now. And it's just fantastic to be here and to see that process going on.
We're so lucky to get this access.
This is incredible. I mean, just look at the size of it.
Well, I was going to say stunned by size, Sizzy.
244 metres. That's 1/4 of a kilometre. Just the platform. Isn't that insane?
It's beautiful, isn't it? I'm loving all this sort of screen saying when the trains are coming and all that. It's so neat, so smart.
It's very clear. And we just heard the doors beep then. I think there are 74 station platform doors just in Farringdon alone. That's epic,
Have
right?
you actually counted them?
I did. When we got here before, I counted every single one of those for that little fact.
Amazing.
The thing with this is that it's about double the length of what we're used to as an underground platform. It gives you some idea as to why the platforms also have to be twice as wide and all of the entrances are so large. But all of these features add up to a state-of-the-art railway. You've got step-free access across all of these central stations. You've got public information systems that are then, again, great for accessibility. And this is what a modern deep tube system looks like.
The train's running every 5 minutes. And if we just part like this, you'll see how huge this is. The parting of the ways. Yeah. It's huge, isn't it?
24 trains an hour coming through here. That's a serious volume of people, isn't it?
And if we all just spin to the left, guys, look at what we've got.
It's just the most beautiful.
Look at this colour. Glorious. Yeah. I feel like stroking the
It's just so exciting. It's a whole brand new underground line.
Oh, it's wonderful. And we spend so much time looking at old stuff, don't we? And it's so refreshing to be somewhere brand new. Yeah. And the other thing, as I said before, about that colour on the walls, the cream just makes everything look so epically bright.
But again, you'll hear with that warmer lighting. Yeah. This is a dwell space, and if you look just there, you can see the cooler lighting in that passageway.
This light reminds me of like sunset or something, you know, that just that golden hour.
Yeah, it's lovely. But that is, I mean, this exactly here is where you spot those two lights, isn't it? Warm and cool. And it's fascinating. I'm absolutely fascinated by that point. Well done. You've got some more places to show us, haven't you?
Well, I think there's a little feature down the platform that we should just go and explore. And let's go down.
Let's do it. Have we got our inhalers, by the way? This is quite a long walk.
It'd be terrible if you tried to run it, wouldn't it?
I mean, I'm game.
Go on, you two. Do it. So that looked rather nice, didn't it, guys? I did like the look of the platform. And as you've said, Siddy, 244 metres. I even challenged you and Nixie to a bit of a race.
I know, and we went for it, even though wearing boots and slightly injured from running. It was a little bit dodgy, but there's something about the size of that platform that really makes you just like want to run around like a kid. It's like a playground almost. Of course, it's not. It's a very serious transport.
It's like an adult
platform.
playground, isn't it?
But it's just you see that and you go, I want to run. I want to run down that. I want to like go crazy.
Go crazy and just throw some shapes.
This is not often that you get to go to a place that's this empty and this vast, and you get to literally be there with 3 of your best mates. Like,
you are so blooming right. You are so. I think what we should do when we go to the next station, of course, that's all under wraps, isn't it? You'll have to watch next week to find out where we are next week. I think we should do a silent disco on the platform. Can you imagine that? That would be great.
Yeah.
I love the look of it. It is a stunning place. And when Chris, the videographer, said to us, oh, by the way, the first train you'll see is coming in about 3 minutes, I was actually dumbstruck. I thought, they're actually running trains down here. And sure enough, we waited long enough. The doors opened. It was fantastic. I just loved that environment. And it's gonna look so cool. Can you imagine when this is actually in service? This is just it's gonna change London. It's going to change our lives, but it's also going to give us so many beautiful things to look at. Yeah. And as we said in the film, the fascinating thing of this lighting is I could never understand why light bulb manufacturers made warm light and cool light lights, right? And suddenly it makes sense here because they're using them in warm light where you linger longer and cool light where you don't linger longer. I think linger longer.
But linger longer. Do you know what though? I'm looking at this and I'm suddenly realizing something that I don't think I clocked. This giant light panel that's going above the platforms is doing all of the lighting for the platform, basically, because the concrete is so reflective that it can just kind of bounce off that light. But that's brilliant, like think about it in other tube stations, you've got, kind of strip lighting or things like that. But this is literally just one row of lights that's lighting the entire rest of the platform. And it's got this kind of warm daylight glow to it. It's really nice.
And I never thought I'd be, Laura, this is aimed at you. I never thought I would be anything other than a purist about the roundel, my lovely red and blue roundel. But you know what? I'm loving the purple roundel.
You did, didn't you? I remember that you were particularly taken. It is a lovely shade of purple as well. And I think it matches the overall kind of feeling and aesthetic of the station as well, doesn't it? But I do have to hold my hand up. I'll try and hold my right hand up.
Oh yeah, well done on the arm, by the way. Well done getting that out of the sling.
Because I made a mistake in the clip. Sorry, I can't count. I added 10. It's not 74, it's 64. There are 32 doors on each platform, so I do apologise.
Should we blame that on the tramadol?
I got that wrong. Let's blame it on the sling. I wasn't thinking straight. I can't count. Sorry. Yeah.
They're quite strong painkillers she was on. It's
very, very.
Nixie, what do you reckon?
32 doors sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But do you know how long the trains are here?
They're about 32 door length, aren't they?
They are, which is 200 metre long. It's absolutely vast. So, I mean, these platforms are crazy, aren't they? You walk out onto one end of it and it's just, you need binoculars to see the other end of them.
And it was quite funny when that train came in, as you're about to see, because it was a bit like Alex Grunson's Go-Go Gadget eyeballs, because the train came in and the doors opened and all I wanted to do is crane my eyeballs round to see this amazing train.
We literally had to pull him back.
It was literally, put me on reins. It was great. Now, as we mentioned earlier, it is like a bit of a kid's playground for us, these places where it doesn't matter whether they're old or new, but it happened to be particularly exciting. We were giddy that day and we spotted a piece of infrastructure kit, PA system. And after my lovely moment on the Isle of Wight being the PA man, we thought it was about time to get the professional voiceover girl, Siddles, to have a go too. Take a look at this.
That matches my face mask, that seat cover.
I just love it. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I think the moquette on these trains is absolutely stunning. I love the colours, I love the design. It's a Wallace Seal, isn't it? A Wallace Seal design, I think, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Love you girls, absolutely marvellous.
But also, have you noticed on the side of the train, it has the Elizabeth Line roundel on it. Yeah. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. Oh, this one's ready to depart.
Oh, a bit of PA there.
Now, we can see that there's another one. So if you were running I've only got 4 minutes to wait. But there is a place on the platforms where the staff know a lot further ahead what's coming.
That over there. And this, this is one of the bits of detail that I absolutely love because it's the station announcement point. And do you remember when we were on the Isle of Wight and I
Hard
played
to
guard?
forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this Island Line service. Well, we can do it again here. In fact, Siddles, you are the voiceover, the professional voiceover. I think maybe you should announce the next train.
Okay.
This would be great.
How would you do it if you had access to the magic
Oh,
key?
so if I had okay.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. I don't know. I'd probably go. The next train to arrive at platform B will be a Paddington service arriving in 4 minutes.
She's good,
What's
isn't
that,
she?
10?
Very
What do you
good.
think?
Oh, 10.
Yeah,
She's
okay.
a
Go
brilliant
with
one.
that.
Can I just ask, by the way, it says code here. Are these the train codes? Does each train have a separate code, 9Y09? Because I noticed on the side of the train, it shows the corresponding code. So it must be a train code, right?
Well, we can check that, I guess, when the next one comes in,
But
can't
then these are going to different places and they've got the same code.
That's very. Oh, look, yeah. 9, 12,
So it
12,
might
and
just
11,
be. I think it might just be the train on the hour, maybe. So that might be the 9th trains that they run, the 10th, the 11th.
I
don't
think
know.
we're going to need to ask somebody, because otherwise this could be a very
It's
long
like phone
episode.
a friend, isn't it? It's like phone a friend. But anyway, lovely stuff. So, of course, a little screen on the platform can teach us exactly how many trains are coming in the next few minutes. We need never worry about the Northern Line minute or anything else again.
Well, as we can see, next one's due in 3 minutes.
Perfect stuff.
Right, shall we?
Let's do it. Ah, dear. Do you know what, Siddles? You did brilliantly well, I have to say. And it's so much fun, isn't it, playing with stuff that we're not supposed to play with?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Do you know what? Yeah, I have a secret desire to do those announcements. Even though first off I was a little bit hesitant. I would have looked into the camera maybe a slightly bit more, but yeah, there's always like to get to be the announcer of the train, there's something really fun and official about that. But you did really well at the Isle of Wight as well.
Have you noticed it? I don't know whether you did this as well. You know, you and I have both worked in the media for a long time. And when you have to do something, if you're talking into a microphone, Siddles and I do it all the time. So it's not a problem. You just talk as you would talk. But if you talk into a special microphone, like a telephone microphone, suddenly you become somebody else. And while I was stood on that train, and while Siddles was stood there, you could just tell, we go, the train approaching platform 4. Suddenly you're somebody completely new, aren't you?
You do get some people doing voice announcements who actually do that, though, don't you? They press the button and then go.
I'd love to. I'd have to be doing that. It's like, is this thing on? It'd be great. I love it. So what do we do then? We decided that we would turn around the corner, we'd turn left, and we go up one flight of escalators because we found another new toy. This is something you're going to love. If you've ever been to Scarborough, you're going to love the funicular railways, and we always used to joke that the older people in Scarborough used to tie themselves together and pull them up the hill. But they didn't have to do that because there's a funicular railway. Well, in these stations, some of them anyway, there is a sort of a guided lift, which is a bit like it's a lift on an escalator shaft, isn't it, Chris? It looks a bit like that.
So they're called inclined lifts, and yeah, as you say, they're a little bit like a funicular. Or if you've been to the places like Torquay has a cliff railway, which does the same kind of thing. And I'd even found one of these when I went on holiday last month. To my surprise, the hotel had one of these. Yeah, remarkable thing to find in a station. Very clever idea, as we'll see shortly.
Chris on the Isle of Greece. Loving his inclined lift. It was great fun. And again, we don't like to do anything just the standard way, so we decided to have a little race. Now, viewers to Patreon will have seen what we're about to see already a few weeks ago, but this is new to you. This escalator shaft is not just an escalator shaft because there is a lift, but it's a lift with a difference, isn't it, Chris?
It's an inclined lift, and you don't get that many of them. There's one at Greenford on the Central Line, but this is a bright, shiny new one, and I don't know about you, I think we should give it a go.
Absolutely.
But we've got an idea, because we reckon that lovely Chris, who's on camera, should race us, so we'll see which is the fastest, the lift or the escalator. What do you reckon?
We really are turning into Top Gear, aren't we?
We are. I'm looking at his face right now. He's really excited by that
Banzai!
opportunity.
Place your bets. Which one's
Go on,
going to be
Sid,
quicker, the
call
lift or
it.
the escalator?
I'm going to go with lift.
Okay.
I'm going to go with escalator.
Okay.
I think we should all go lift.
Let's go.
Let's all go lift. We'll
All right.
race Chris.
Let's do it. Let's go. I
Okay.
mean, very, very
Right.
nice. But this is not going to go straight up, is it? This is going to go on a funny. Oh,
Yeah,
look
so
up
hold
there.
on, hold on tight.
Because it kind of moves a bit
Now-
sideways.
Right,
Does it?
and 1, 2,
There's Chris in there. Look at this. This is so
Chris.
cool.
you can go.
No, hold on.
There we go. Hey! This is
Oh,
fantastic.
What a cameraman.
Now, this is a very strange sort of feeling, isn't it? It's a bit like being at the seaside with one of those funicular
Cliff
railways.
Railway,
Yeah, cliff
yeah.
railways.
We are ridiculous, by the way.
Look at the camera.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mum.
The thing is, you see the counterbalance weight, that yellow thing just
And that
coming down.
comes
yeah.
underneath us, going under us now and out the other side.
But
There it goes.
This, all of your senses are wrong, because in a lift you expect to go straight up. On a train you expect to kind of go that way. You kind of have to brace slightly diagonally when they set
Yeah.
off, don't you?
But it
Good
doesn't.
thing,
Brace,
though. It's
brace,
going
brace.
at the same rate as the escalator.
And do you know
Yeah,
the
to be
thing
honest,
about it?
it's the same.
If you were scared of lifts, I don't think you'd be scared of this.
Oh,
It
and
doesn't
then-
feel scary.
Yeah, you don't like a
doesn't feel as
lift, do
scary,
you?
Yeah,
no.
it doesn't feel
Very
scary.
smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, really think. Oh, no, that's interesting.
He's-
Only because of the doors is the escalator
He
quicker.
technically won.
He won.
He did.
Chris won.
Chris won.
This is
Fair enough.
amazing.
We have
this
a
is
winner.
amazing. So we emerge into the other ticket hall, and immediately you're struck by the ceiling. So it's beautiful, isn't it?
I love this. There's something kind of regal about this. You know, it feels like a ballroom or something, but like
It does.
You know, like a brand new one. It's really cool. It's got, yeah.
It's beautiful. And Lord, the etching, I suppose, on the glass.
So I was just thinking, I wonder if that's kind of, because it's got a frosted kind of visual element to it. I know the diamonds, the jewels on the other side were actually digitally,
I know what that
digitally,
is.
I can't say it.
That's
I
digitally.
I can't-
Digitally
I
I've
put
can't-
just
onto the
realised
glass.
what that is.
Go on.
So, Smithfield Market is right there, and it's got all this beautiful Victorian wrought ironwork on the outside of it, and you see kind of all the stonework, the masonry on the outside. It looks exactly like the masonry over Smithfield.
And I'm just still reeling from the fact that Alex has asked Laura to look at his etchings there at the start of that.
It's
without
not going to
flicker.
happen again.
I think the other nice thing here is you've got actually the Elizabeth line sign is there because we're inside, it's uncovered. So there you go, that's the identity. And if you look above us, you see the perforated stainless steel
Yeah.
and over there as well. Well, that's why
There's very little
Echo.
echo.
Kills the
just
sound.
kills it.
It is a beautiful, beautiful station, and to think that we have many more episodes exploring this beautiful place. And as we go, Chris, we're going to introduce everybody to all the other design aspects and actually some of the people who have made this project happen.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we should go and have a look at the outside of this entrance as well before we go see what it's like.
Good plan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because actually outside, there is the one symbol that proves that it's not yet open.
There is.
Oh, what is it?
Well, we'll find
Let's
out.
see.
Let's go.
See, escalator, always faster, isn't it? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And Chris, there is actually a good reason to have these, isn't there?
There is. So many of our viewers will have watched fascinating Hidden London Hangouts all about stations that have become disused because they had escalators fitted and their lift shafts are now redundant and over here, and the new entrance is over here with the escalator. So if you have a station with both lifts and escalators, there's your problem. The lift comes out in a different place to the escalator. Unless you incline it, then it comes out in the same place with the escalator.
Now, the thing is, Siddles, I love all the technical stuff that Chris offers us, but really, frankly, I'm as much at home mucking around with you. And it was pretty good fun, wasn't it? Racing an escalator. But bless him, Chris, again, our videographer, thank you so much for so much fun that day, was just instinctively happy to take the escalator while we mucked around in the lift.
It was, yeah, you know what though, that was a very good idea that you came up with, that we should race him, because there was something brilliant about those, seeing him on the escalator, but us on the, I don't know, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the day, to just do that little race. And then to come out and see that beautiful other entrance that again looked like a ballroom or something, just extraordinary and just so beautiful. I loved that. And yeah, and even the artwork and everything around that was so pretty.
And it's quite an interesting experience actually going on an incline lift, isn't it, Laura? Because you half expect the lift to go up and down, but actually when it's going sideways, it is a bit peculiar.
It is, and to be, I actually didn't think we were going to put that in the show because we were messing around so much. So I'm quite surprised that that went in because we were having a little bit of a goof around. But it was lots of fun. I genuinely thought the lift was going to win as well. Got that totally wrong.
Yeah, totally. And then, of course, after that, we decided to end our little tour. I wanted to show them something that proves that this line is coming and it's not yet arrived. Guys, I promised you one final symbol to show this line isn't open yet. The roundel is covered by a bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, the station is dormant. We don't want people getting confused and trying to get in. So when it opens in the next 6 months, that will be taken off and the station will be officially open.
We'll whip the bag off when the beast wakes up. What do you reckon of what we've seen today, Law?
I mean, I know you guys will all agree, but what a treat to be allowed into this space at this particular point. It was lovely that it was so quiet and it's all shiny and new. And I just think that this is my first trip out since this happened, and I actually couldn't have wanted to be anywhere else apart from seeing this place with you guys. I'm really excited about this one going out to, to the team.
And
Fabulous.
now I'm so excited. So where are we going to go next?
Well, where
after
will we go
this?
next, Mr. Next?
Well, you'll have to wait until next week to find out. But I think my favourite bit of the day is about to happen.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get to close the station and put it to bed.
I
Shall we?
love this. Come on in. Sid, Law, come have a look at this, because I have to say, I think this
with
is
me?
really quite cool.
Well, I mean, I can give you my left arm.
There was a kids'
Okay.
TV show
Right,
years
I'll
ago,
do-
wasn't there, Chris? Do you remember the kids' TV show? Was it Trumpton?
It was that.
I think you
or-
might be
I
right.
think it was Trumpton, where there was a guy who used to run the windmill, Windy Miller?
Windy
Is that
Miller.
right? Was it Windy Miller?
It was Windy
And
Miller. He
Come on,
always
Sid,
managed
grab
to
hold,
walk out between
because
the
you shut the
blades.
doors with a massive great turn of the handle. I love this.
See you later.
We won.
You know, it's funny. Everything we do is kids playing. And I love the fact that even as grown-ups, with all the rubbish we have to deal with every day, the stresses and strains of COVID and everything else, we still manage to have a bit of a laugh. And it's so nice, guys, to have shared that little tour of Farringdon with you, but also with my lovely three chums here, because it's been a really lovely introductory canter, hasn't it, Chris, through what I reckon is going to be not only exclusive content for YouTube that we're generating, but also the most amazing and exciting part of London's new infrastructure.
It's such a privilege to be able to do this stuff, and thank you so much to the project team who've listened to me hounding them over the summer and asking, can we go in yet? Can we go in yet? Would you let us do this? So thank you for acquiescing and allowing us to share this marvelous new set of stations. So yeah, I'm just really excited to go out and finish exploring. Siddy and I have had the privilege of being to some of these places during the course of the life of the project and see them in build. So it is just beautiful to be able to go back and see them on the brink of opening and share them with our lovely audience.
Gorgeous stuff. And as you can probably imagine, in the run-up to Christmas, all of our diaries are rammed, and that's why it's the crack of dawn and we're recording this episode today. But you might just see two of us at some of the stations, but we're hoping to get four of us as much as we can, because actually we have the most fun when we're all together. Notes, queries and questions. Your questions, your comments, your thoughts on our episodes and what we might cover next. And I love this one. Mark messaged, do you remember at the beginning of the programme? And I mean, none of this is scripted, by the way. It is straight off the top of our heads. We just have a rough plan of what we're going to talk about, and that's it. But usually most episodes I start with, I don't do this alone. I've got three amazing people from the London Transport Museum, blah, blah, blah. Mark says, this week I chaired a Skype nurse interview panel for a hospital here in Ireland. I found myself saying, as part of my intro to the overseas candidates, I don't do this on my own. At least I stopped short of saying I had three lovely people from the London Transport Museum. I love that. You see, our quotes are coming on.
I really hope you did notes, queries and questions at the end instead of any other business as well.
Imagine, no
Yeah, and
queries.
and I hope he signed it off with have yourself a great day and stay safe.
Oh my goodness, they've all got these quotes. Anybody? Dave says, I just wanted to drop you a quick line to say how much I really enjoyed the last two Hidden London Hangouts. The new D-Stock Isle of Wight one was great. It's happened to need 25,000 views. It's incredible. I'm very interested to see how much work has been done by Viva Rail, the company, and that you and Chris had the opportunity to share it with us all. The Route Master was also amazing. You looked very much at home driving it, and Chris with his IAM spoken thoughts commentary, Institute of Advanced Motorists there. And of course, Sybil's. I mean, her silent driving was just wonderful and has been noted even by Parliament. Laura did very well with it. Oh, and potty mouth, steely-eyed City too. I gave a wry smile as Chris got owned by Mr. Daniels on the moquette for the BEA. I love the pedantry. As always, I'm loving the Hidden London Hangouts. I can't believe it's on its 4th series, and I've enjoyed every single one through lockdown and beyond. You guys, the Fab Four, have given us banter, education, support, knowledge, and a warm feeling that we're one big family. Thank you so much. Isn't that gorgeous? And of course, it was tank time, wasn't it, last week? We do love a good tank. And we've got Jay Godfrey said, that was interesting. Sounds almost surprised. Had no idea this LT war effort connection. Hope your arm's improving, Laura. You're doing well, aren't you, with the arm, Laura? It's all off.
I am allowed to lose the sling now for a few hours at home, so my arm can be back in its socket. That's nice, isn't it? But it feels it's nice. A lot of relief. Thank you.
It's a bit like Your Life in Their Hands and Casualty all rolled into one. You get it all in, don't you? Anthony Shipman says, brilliant episode. I love when you were talking about transporting vehicles through tube lines with a Sherman tank from the Fury film behind you. It was quite fascinating, wasn't it? Because, I mean, there was a little moment where we could actually have got a tank through the Metropolitan line chunk, couldn't we, Chris?
Yeah, I'd love to find a photo to see if they actually did it. But even just to know it was a possibility was quite something.
Robert Lilly says, a tank on the underground, how would you fit it in the lift? I guess you'd take the gun off and just push that up the escalators. I don't know, but thank you very much, Robert. Andrew says, thanks for keeping us entertained and your wonderful positive vibes each week. I've got the bags under our eyes though. Laura and Sid have done brilliantly well. They do, look at you. I mean, Sidles, you're looking gorgeous this morning.
I think this is what you call makeup. This is several layers of makeup.
I've got the slider on Zoom hits to touch up your look. It's right that way.
I really need to find that setting.
Yeah, we all need to do it. The Dirt Devils, says Rob, are on tour. Who'd have thunk a tank was so close to the old 98B? I used to catch it when I was a kid. Just try imagining driving a tank through the deep level tube, says you lazy git.
Alex, I have to say, just on that, when we did the Battle Bus project, we did find there was a photo in the collection of a B-type bus that was converted to an armoured vehicle. So they did try it, just putting armour plating on a B-type bus chassis. It could barely move.
Yeah, I would think that would be way too heavy.
Yeah. Somebody said to me years ago, they said, if Kevlar, the stuff that they make the black box out of on a plane, why don't they make the whole plane out of the black box and then there'd be no problem? And I said, it would never take off. It's so heavy. Isn't that right? Am I right with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. And finally, Tim Gowan says, sometimes I wonder what it'd be like if you were all in a classic Blue Peter studio. We'd just show you one we made earlier. That's what we'd do. It'd be great. Laura can do, what do you reckon, Laura? You could do the sticky fix with sticky back paper.
Do you know, I'm a little bit crafty. I could definitely do the craft section.
We know that.
I'd be cleaning up after the elephant. That's what I'd be doing.
And me and Sidney can have a food fight with a sort of randomly positioned cooker in the middle of a studio. That'd be good fun, wouldn't it? Anyway, listen, thank you so much for watching. It's been a delight to be able to share with you the first of our Elizabeth Line stations, many more to come. And what we're going to do as well as we go, we're going to meet some of the just truly wonderful people who have helped make the project come to be. And I'm really hoping, do you reckon next time we see Chris, the videographer, do you reckon we can persuade him to come and join us on a future Hidden London Hangout? He's the nicest man in the world and he's so talented, as you can see from those films. First of all, Chris Nix, thank you so much for being part of this today. You're a star.
Thanks, Alex. Really enjoyed first chapter of this. Many more to come, and we're going to meet some great people along the way as well.
City Holloway, thank you so much too. As always, hooning around with you on a platform is always a joy.
I know, and I cannot wait to go to some of the other places. I mean, even when we were just wrapping up at Farringdon, I was already going, where are we going to go to next? So tune in next week to find out, everyone.
We become very info hungry, don't we, Laura?
We do, and I think this one was, well, because this is the one that we went to first to start this lovely journey of the Elizabeth Line stations. Anything, you know, we all love anything that marries up these lovely artistic, architectural and engineering design features with connection is what it's all about, isn't it?
Totally. Laura Hilton Brown, thank you so much indeed. If you like what you've seen, you may wish to see more. I would very strongly suggest you follow our Instagrams, Chris Nix, City Holloway, Hidden London Law, Alex Grunden, and @LT Museum. On YouTube, thank you. You found us. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. By the way, that person who puts a negative thumbs down before the episode even starts, I'd say you're a bit premature.
Is there someone that does
They
that?
actually do that. They actually do that. I noticed on Saturday. I thought,
God.
I spotted it on Saturday. Yeah,
That's
cool, yeah.
hilarious. Why even go on and do that?
I think it's a photo of 4 people having fun. As the
Yeah,
title.
it's like-
Clearly they don't like that.
Oh no, it's because
Fair
now
enough.
we've given them the platform, guys. Now they're going to keep on doing it.
I know, can you imagine? There'll be like 16 down
Brilliant.
arrows now. But
Do
you
it,
know what?
fine.
I hope you're enjoying it because we're loving making these things for you. But as I say, like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you've got comments about places we can go after we've done this amazing Elizabeth Line series, let us know. Thoughts on the episodes you've got so far, and if we've meant something to you by somehow making you feel a bit better about life as we've gone, then we'd like to hear that as well, and we'll read out the best ones. As always, have yourself a great day and stay safe.